Terrific. What I'd like to do to wrap up here, just make a few comments. As the panelists were talking, I jotted down a few notes and do a quick recap here. A couple of things came across to me that were important. One is just understanding the scope and the importance of this work and just how big it really is when you think about the impact it can have on our country. When you're talking, healthcare and law enforcement information sharing and what it can mean is just how important this work really is. The other thing that I heard is today this stuff's becoming real. It's not about producing an enterprise architecture document because OMB says to produce one. It's actually about using the results of those documents to achieve real business change and to real process improvement. Intelligence and information sharing came across a number of times, and it seems to me that if we're going to get where we want to get in this big drive for better information sharing, the only way to get there will be via architecture and good frameworks, standards. The NEEM model was mentioned in law enforcement, for example, as something that's leading that. I also heard a little bit about trusted enterprises and supply chains and using architecture perhaps to look at who are the stakeholders you're interoperating with and to make sure that you have trusted supply chains there. The importance of transition planning as you begin to move legacy programs over. That's not a simple thing. And I heard over and over again the necessity for leadership to have stakeholder buy-in. If I had to make a final remark, I would say that some of the planners who worked on Klinger-Cohen when we talked about enterprise architecture in the past would be thrilled right now. Because back in those days, I was part of that when we're putting together Klinger-Cohen, and we talked about this enterprise architecture, and I think people were looking at each other saying, well, no one's going to get that. What is it? What is it? Well, here it is. It's real. It's being used. It's being implemented. And I think Shamendra, you talked, and I also heard Scott talking a little bit about this idea that you're not going to have to constantly rebuild things, and I see the day where we're going to be able to, visualize a result and then go to service-oriented architectures and pre-programmed artifacts, and building large systems is going to be basically putting blocks and pieces together as opposed to the traditional way of writing enormous amounts of code. With that, I want to thank all our panelists for being here. It was another great discussion. I appreciate you taking time from your very, very busy schedules to